Hey everypony, Racket Brony here, and before I get to the reading, I need to tell you that the hiatus that I've been on for about 3 weeks now should be over starting Saturday, which leads into the announcement that now instead of me uploading the videos on Fridays, I'm going to be uploading them on Saturdays, because that's going to be my one day off I get from work. Just a little shout out and thank you and apology all wrapped up in one to the author. I promised to him I would get this reading out, 3 weeks ago? Maybe 4 weeks ago? Star Wars, The Long War and Friendship by eniugnas. Systems. A weathered old hand swatted the side of the computer in a barely held together scrap heap of a ship. Systems rebooting. Target is still venting atmosphere. The hand swatted it again before reaching up and stroking a bushy beard. Do we still have forward batteries? Your 50-day free trial has expired. The computer fuzzed up and spoke in the same poor quality tone he remembered so well. 57 years ago. What would you like to pay for? No, computer, set date back a year. Alter base programming to ignore date actual. The computer fuzzed and sparked before simply burning out and catching on fire. His old green eyes peered out at a small frigate he had chased to the ends of his galaxy, into the next, through wormholes and past gas giants, nebulas, and quasars. A soft chuckle sounded, and knowing that he was not always the one chasing. Another casualty of war, huh? You little red bastard. This can't really go on forever, can it? Steady, thin, frail-looking hands held the perfect crimson thread firmly as something other than patience guided it through the eye of the needle. Hairs, burns, wavering through.
Blasted, all this robe was made from Incentia nettle silk. You would think that boneheaded human would have known to be more careful with it. I mean, who in space throws their boot at an enemy when they run out of ammo?
Popped this precious seam.
It will take forever to get this back to 100%.
Careful hands gently smoothed over the black silk that showed decades of wear and tear. The old humanoid's focus was crashed when the once almost seductively wonderful sounding voice of the computer shrieked into his ears.
Life support's failing, Master. Estimated 2 minutes of oxygen left.
Oh, Terjecnine, I see you still have the voice of an angel. That you know. Happens to have a damn terrible voice.
He sighed, tying what he had into a knot, so his work could be continued later.
I thought you said that the damage would not affect us for another week.
Master, that was exactly 7 days and 15 hours ago.
The old robed man reached out and grasped his old battered mask, fitting it into place under his hood before bringing up the mapping software.
Here, that looks like it's livable. Let's crash there.
Master,
He swatted the console in frustration.
there is no telling if the world is safe. Odd solar activity suggests that there's a black hole in the system. Whatever miracles...
He beat the console with a hefty wooden stick he picked up on the last life-bearing planet he visited, and it sputtered before continuing.
Science is keeping that world from being affected by whatever massive force of gravity is yanking its sun around. May not spare the world for long.
He raised the stick again, but before he could vent more frustration, the computer sputtered out the last of its sentence.
Oh, it's unwise to simply trust that everything will be fine.
Terjecnine, shut up. Crash my ship into the planet before I fry you and do it myself.
There was a moment of silence before the dying computer sputtered out an answer.
Very well, Master. Route engaged. Your friend is following suit. Engaging. Hyperdrive.
The old ship hummed up and shot forward as just a few hundred kilometers away, the light brown patchwork ship did the same. There was no sound but the calm wind rustling over the air. Just outside of Fluttershy's cottage, every pony had fallen asleep, watching the stars after a short and somewhat private celebration. The yellow Pegasus still had the party hat on, sleeping soundly in the warm summer night under the stars. Only one set of eyes stared up at the beautiful sky, whispering a silent thank you to her friends and teacher's sister for making the night so beautiful for Fluttershy's birthday. It was a fun day and a fun night. Twilight had left Spike and Aloysius back in the Friendship Castle with Big Mac in the CMC. She didn't know really what they were doing there, but Spike seemed to just want to have some guy talk. It was too hard to say no to Sweetie Belle's sad puppy eyes. So she agreed and let them run rampant in the castle. It was no big deal. It was not like they could burn it down or anything. They had their cutie marks now. Ever since that happened, there was a great deal less chaos and property damage in Ponyville. The telescope tilted up as a tired eye looked thoroughly content. Twilight yawned and smiled. She had shared all she knew to her friends about the stars in the sky, but she knew none of them would remember any of it. It was just good to have some pony who would listen. "Oh, hello there." Her voice was extra hushed. She rubbed her eyes and took a peek through the basic alignment scope to see a star she had not seen before. "Oh, maybe Luna will let me name it." She lowered her head to look through the main scope and froze. She didn't see a twinkling star. She saw a ball of fire. Shaking herself awake, she looked again. Sure enough, a ball of fire was heading right for their position. "Girls, wake up!" Every pony at once shot up in a fright before their eyes followed Twilight's pointing hoof at the fire in the sky, which rapidly approached. It did not take long for panic to set in as ponies ran left and right in a panic split between trying to run for their lives, going back for the leftover cake, saving the animals, or simply just going back to sleep. Though the chaos was shattered as the ball of fire changed course, just barely missing Fluttershy's cottage and landing with a heavy boom in the Everfree forest. Every pony let out a long sigh of relief. That is until the second fireball blasted past, nicking the cottage, taking the very top off before it crashed into the Everfree forest. However, something caught Twilight's eye. Not only was she almost certain that the fire was coming out of what looked to be a shaped piece of metal, but she could have sworn she saw something on top of the second one. Something standing on two legs, holding what looked almost like something out of Vinyl's laser display. "Come on, girls, we have to go." "Go where, Twilight?" "Seriously, not to put a damper on your mood, Sugar Cube, but yeah, a meteor 2 just came down. It's a bit of a fright, but no. I kinda just want to go back to sleep. It was fun, but we should all get back to sleep. Fluttus, do you mind if I crash on your couch?" "No, I saw some pony riding the fireball. This is no joke. Some pony could be hurt out there. We have to go, and think about it. Those were really big fireballs. They could catch the Everfree forest on fire. Heck, look at Fluttershy's house. It's on fire right now." They all looked up to see Rainbow Dash nudging a dark cloud which rained on the small bit of flames at the roof. Oh dear. I mean, if some pony really was out there, it would be so mean just to ignore them. I mean, they could be hurt. A flash of rainbow colors and the nearby blue Pegasus zipped up. "Until 40 seconds ago, we were all asleep. I mean, sure, maybe there is a fire hazard, but the forest doesn't touch any pony's home. It'll be fine. Let's just go back to sleep. We can all look in the morning. Zecora lives in the forest. If it burns down, she will die. The tired Pegasus was running out of excuses not to go into the Everfree forest. But she had at least one more in her. Oh, come on, Zecora will escape easily. She made it through the forest with all her stuff in tow, with Discord's plants that were trying to eat every single pony. She's tougher than anything you give her credit for. I mean, come on now. Let's go back to sleep. In there is nothing but trees, Paris sprites, and Poison Joke. Every pony's eyes shot wide as there was a booming roar, almost like T-Rex reaching max power. Then a boulder, nearly the size of Fluttershy's cottage, smashed through the trees and landed a few dozen yards from where they were all standing. They all stared with wide-eyed horror before a torrent of lightning shot over the horizon. It did not take long after that before the group, some far more willing than others, decided to head into the forest to more or less save the day. Silk, you are mad about Silk? Half the galaxy is probably still in flames and you are worried about your pretty dress? Frail arm swung upwards like a overextended uppercut, and a boulder deep underground uprooted and flew at the old human on the other side of the clearing.
It is Insetia Nettle Silk, and these are robes. Robes that cost more than your flagship. I crashed into that damned moon.
That is right. You still owe me for the flagship. The Republic doesn't just hand out flagships, you know.
Oh my goodness. That was 60-something years ago, you old fart. Give it a rest.
The blue blade of energy shot forward at amazing speeds, barely able to be deflected by a beam of blood-red energy. The blades locked, and the two beings leaned in. Something other than physical force pressed in so hard that the ground behind each of them rumbled and tore apart before the two energy weapons sizzled and went out. The bearded man pulled his hand back and threw a balled-up fist into the hooded mask of the other man. There was a loud crack, and both men reeled back in pain.
Bloody hell, my face! I mean, I can't believe it, you even dented my mask!
My fist. I thought that was made out of bone, not some metal. What the hell, oh bloody hell, my knuckles! The old man's eyes went wide as the masked foe drove his frail but telekinetically enhanced foot up into his foe's groin.
My foot! Why do you still wear that bloody codpiece?
The other coughed and groaned, rolling about before leaping out and landing on the other, trading blows until they were too tired to continue. It was not until the bearded man was halfway through gnawing through the hood while getting swatted with the handle of a dead energy blade that they both looked to the side to see what looked to be half a dozen colorful equines staring down at them, with a surprisingly large amount of facial expressions.
Well, this is weird. Why are they staring?
One of the smaller animals, with bright pink fur and an overly happy look on its face, turned to one of the other animals and spat out a long line of syllables the two foes could not understand.
That sounded like words. A language? Are these quadrupeds sentient?
And what is so damn surprising about that?
Get off me, you oaf.
He kicked the old man once more and stood up, brushing off what remained of his robes, before giving a bow and opening his mouth beneath his mask.
Hekja neki bava tunkecha kwe tor chunaka. Hen tora chunpa.
Twilight snapped out of the slight daze that the others had not yet, and cast a translation spell.
Eat and mighty empire. So I ask of you so kindly, if you have any silk to spare, for this mindless buffoon has gone and ruined my best robes. Granted, they are still a little past warm, but still.
Twilight could almost feel the petty sadness rolling off of him as he looked at the torn robes, which honestly She and Rarity could surely tell were once quite beautiful. I can't understand ancient Sith, you egg-headed little priss.
Well, I'm not using your guttural language. When I speak to a new race, some people like to be graced with tradition and beauty when addressed. Not some dumb as a sack of hammers backwards hick that by sheer luck was discovered by the Jedi Order just in time for the war.
Try Galactic Basic. Simple things are used by everyone for a reason. Because, well, it simply works. Easy to learn and easy to teach. You don't need to trip over yourself with all your fancy prissy frou-frou crap. You just find out what needs to be done and do it.
Sorry, I can't understand, barbarian. Why don't you go be a good little boy and play in the dirt over there?
I don't care if my saber is broken or not. I will gnaw off your head if I have to right in front of these little pony things over here. Excuse me. I see you are having some, problems. Just letting you guys know that we are still here. Twilight spoke with some rather difficult to hold back frustration. Both warriors stopped and glanced in Twilight's direction. Did that pony just use Galactic Basic? Ha! Told you!
What are you talking about? That was obviously ancient Sith. I told you.
Enough! Twilight's outside voice shook their inner ears and easily caught their attentions. Okay, now look. Why don't you both just stop arguing for a moment, and we can settle this all in the morning, get some sleep, and we will make all this hostility go away in the morning. I'm not sleeping within 100 yards of that prissy little whiner.
And I'm not sleeping within 200 yards of that boneheaded buffoon.
Twilight's teeth ground tautly before she took a deep breath and opened her mouth. Ooh, why don't you sleep over at Sugar Cube Corner? And he can sleep over at the boutique. That is exactly 201 yards away from each other.
Do you happen to have black silk there?
Rarity, though still rather unsure, took a look at Twilight, who gave her a pleading look that screamed, "Please, just anything to make this problem go away." Oh, yes, indeed. The finest of silks and gemstones. The likes of which you have never seen. Rarity offered a warm and happy smile, giving a "you owe me" glance at Twilight. Sugar Cube Corner. I assume that is a sweet shop or something? Oh, like you would never believe! Okay, I'm in. I haven't had any sweets in about, let's say, 40 years? I could use some about now. Twilight gestured to Applejack, Rainbow Dash, and Pinky for them to head off with the bearded warrior. As she, Rarity, the still scared senseless Fluttershy went off with the masked warrior.
Goodness, this is quality, ma'am. The Emperor himself would have hired you in a second.
The tall, thin, bipedal man looked about, and Rarity legitimately felt flattered. He did not touch, but carefully inspected her every stitch on some of her finer work, more drawn to the longer, darker pieces.
Species intent aside, had this visit been on a less problematic side, I could spend half my fortune at this shop alone. This silk, it looks finer than any I have ever seen. How do you get the color to stay so rich?
Rarity, now completely forgetting about all the conflict before, happily replied, leaping into the conversation with vigor and passion. Happy to see that this bipedal being was obviously of high class, and had an eye for the finer things in life. So long as his previously violent display was not something he brought out everywhere, she was sure that they would be fast friends. Twilight and Fluttershy, on the other hand, still stared from a distance, not quite sure how to go about the whole ordeal. Oh goodness, this is delicious! The old man wiped the frosting beard off of his actual beard, followed by Pinky, who wiped her frosting beard off of her fuzzy pink coat. Only one action was performed with a tongue, and the other performed with an invisible telekinetic force. So, you like parties too? Pinky happily buzzed. The old man brought up a heavy smile. Of course, who doesn't love parties? Granted, the last party I had was around 13 years ago. Man, that world really knew how to party. A little heavy on booze, but still a good party nonetheless. I am quite overdue for another party. All this fighting really drags one's spirit down. Brother, you came to the right place. Pinky slapped a party hat on top of the old man and let off her party cannon before dancing about, singing and dancing to his legitimate delight. Mister, I don't mean to interrupt the party here, but I do have a few questions to ask. You know, just for the whole safety of the world sort of thing. Applejack did not want to give the old man a reason to jump back into defensive combat. She had no idea who or what this man was. She had never seen any pony like him. The words he spoke and his previous fight with the other bipedal gave significant reason to worry. Oh, no worries, he beamed back happily. I am Jedi Master Shen Tetshura of the Republic. They call me the War Sage. But heck, honestly, I'm just a farm boy from Alderaan. My parents were nerf herders, and hey, a Jedi came poking around and found me when I was just a boy. Took me up and started training me just in time to see the Sith Empire invade. Oh goodness. Never go to war, it's really not worth it. He paused, waving a hand about grumpily. But then, on the battlefields of Torrent's third moon, I think I met him. And that's when our rivalry began. Rainbow Dash peeked in a little closer, somewhat entertained by the idea of noble battles and elite troops. Who? Shen downed another cupcake before staring back.
Darth Sanguine, the Seeker and the Keeper, Grand Lord of the Sith, and member of the Dark Council.
Sanguine gave an illustrious gentlemanly bow after his answer to Fluttershy's question. She seemed a little more at ease with his open friendliness. And why did you come to our world? She held her breath, hoping that he didn't say anything along the lines of conquest.
Oh, I need a new ship. And honestly, this was the closest habitable world. So really I had no real choice but to land here. As did that buffoon. Ugh, I really can't stand that guy. I mean, seriously.
Sanguine reached within his own hood and pulled off his mask, setting it to the side. Running his fingers over the dent, he let out a sad sigh. Finally, he pulled his hood back to reveal blood-red skin, wrinkled and spotted with age. A perfectly hairless head. His eyes were sleek white irises, over yellow whites and complemented by golden jewelry that fitted gently under his skin at his eyes tracing down. The only thing that seemed unnatural for him, at least, was a large, darkened lump on his cheek that coincided with the dent in his mask.
I do hope you don't mind if I take advantage of the fact that you have a demigoddess of fashion here. I need new robes, and this seems like just the place.
He offered a somewhat off-putting smile.
Oh, and don't worry about payment. I may not have whatever your kind uses for currency, but I can very easily supplement that with what I can give.
He reached out and touched a bundle of rough trash cloth within Rarity's rejected box. Instantly, the fabric flared up, changing, pulling tight and smoothing out of such high standards in her shop, helping. She was about to pull Twilight aside to explain that she needed to let Sanguine stay, but the look on Twilight's face showed that she would excitedly agree. You can do magic? You have no horn. This is fascinating. You just have to show me more. He smiled with a little scoff.
Magic? No. These are the sacred Sith arts, not something as elusive and nonsensical as
magic. Oh no, it's just a force. See? Shen's hand extended and the apples pulled firmly off the trees and into the bins. Pfft, magic. There's no such thing. Rainbow laughed, giving him a nudge. Oh, you are in for a surprise. Almost every pony here can use some sort of magic. Heck, Twilight and Rarity, they both use magic. Every single day. How do you think you are understanding us? Twilight cast a translation spell on both of you? Shen picked up the large buckets, hefting it over his shoulder. Really? Huh, odd. I have some troubles believing it. Magic. Then, again, sentient equines are not exactly commonplace on most planets. Applejack yawned, looking up at the rising sun, almost wishing she could have been able to sleep the whole night instead of deal with all the ruckus. Thankfully, this old man knew his way around the farm. By the way, Shan, me and the family sure thank you for offering to help. Oh, certainly. Applejack, was it? Yes, Applejack, yeah. You see, it's what my father always told me. If you don't work, you don't eat. And well, I eat. I eat a lot, actually. So I need to work. It's only proper. He hefted the apples up into place, making sure they were with others of their kind. Being new, he wasn't sure of where everything went, but it was easy to be confident that those apples went specifically with the others. Applejack peered over the man in curiosity. He had found that his eagerness to help and general excess of positive energy made him very favorable to be around. Though looking at him, she was sure he was even older than Granny, but built more muscular than even Big Mac. If he were a pony, he would certainly be a sight to behold, even in his old age. So, Shen, if you don't mind me asking, what is the whole thing with Sanguine about? Rainbow Dash hovered above the man, rather eager to hear the story of action and fighting. Oh, well, this is kinda, a hard question to answer. You see, back a long time ago, in what I assume is a galaxy far, far away, there was a republic. And the Jedi who lived there, kinda serving as protectors, a little faded there. Then there were some, let's say, unsavory types within the Jedi. They wanted to use their powers for something else. Well, I'm no historian, but things happened and they got kicked out of the Republic, banished to outer space. As they flew off, they found a world called Korriban. It had a whole bunch of red people on it. Eventually, the two groups became one. They came back for revenge against the Republic. But that is just a hyperspace war. At least I think that is what they are calling it. Stupid name. Well, that started before I was born. Yeah, I don't know if it's still going on or not. Heck, it could be over. The Sith could have won, or the Jedi. I honestly don't know. I just know that me and my men fought against Darth Sanguine and his men. Then after we got lost in the wormhole, I'm pretty sure we ended up in another galaxy. He had 7 ships and I had 10. We fought so often that after a few years, we only had 1 ship each, and a small handful of crew. That and our apprentices. A few dozen more years, and it was just us and our apprentices. Then we crashed on the same planet. That's when our apprentices fell in love and decided to stay on that world, and we didn't mind all that much, and we would just go on and continue. The pink pony tilted her head in question. She was rewarded with a similar head tilt from the human. Well, there's a lot of reasons. Can you name one? Because honestly, this sounds kinda...
Silly. Oh no, the war was not silly. I can still see that flagship of his burning. Nothing about war is silly. When I fled, he gave chase. Our personal battle lasted for over 78 years. We have been lost for most of that.
That is what I am talking about. Why fight for so long? Why do you want to kill each other so badly? Kill each other? Shen fell back in his chair, laughing loudly. Kill each other? He rolled about laughing and chuckling till he nearly teared up. I was forced into the Jedi Order All my men wanted to fight, but still, I was just a boy. 14 years old, on the battlefield. I have no loyalty to a group that does that to something as innocent as a small, poor farm boy. I fight because of Sanguine. Pardon?
He intrigues me. Never once had I ever come across something that was so opposite to me that I did not want to destroy. Everything about him. I was 37 years old, staring down at this boy who had just effortlessly cleaved through an entire battalion of Sith troopers to get to. Can you guess? Can you? Come on. No? Well, he tried to get to my lunchbox. And he wasn't even hungry. He was just curious as to what a Sith ate. At first, I thought it would be a cinch just to brainwash him or fight and dominate him. But we fought to a standstill. Afterwards, we just talked. He was bland, straightforward, prudish, but still, he was a good lad.
Sanguine pulled the silk firmly over the makeshift mannequin, as the others listened to him continue with some still confused faces.
We are rivals, yes, but honestly, I would be utterly
disappointed if the old bag of bones died. Yeah, he killed, he hurt people, but it was his orders, as was the case with me. You can't blame the soldier for what the general orders. We fought all the time over the past age, but honestly, we never had actually tried to kill each other. I'm a Jedi, of course, but I didn't ask to become one. I was made into one. For how high and mighty the Jedi pretend to be, they certainly got their blood shed out of me. But Sanguine? Sanguine could see it. We were so different and yet so similar. Was he forced into combat too?
Oh, heavens no. I was ordered by Naga Shadow to develop and use artifacts on the field of battle. Originally, I was not even a combatant. Then, finally, I joined in on it after Shen caught my eyes. Goodness, I had never even seen a man do the things that man has done. It kind of made me feel complete, I guess.
He looked over Fluttershy, who had just entered, followed by Angel Bunny.
Dear sweet darkness, what is that? So much malicious power built up inside it. It's diabolical and fluffy. I love it!
He scooped up Angel Bunny, who started to throw something of a fit, before Sanguine's eyes glared wide. It was something akin to the stare, but more or less he was simply using the Force to make it clear how powerful he was, and the bunny had two choices. Enjoy being pet or stay out of the way. Angel obediently sat and accepted the petting. Do you like animals too?
Of course. I once tamed a Terran Tartak. It still ain't my old master's brother, but I think that was the reason my master let me keep it. Not quite as fluffy, but still. One never forgets his first pet.
He looked down almost longingly as his mind went back to Shen.
Rarity, Twilight, do you know what my name means?
Twilight gave a bit of a nervous chuckle. It's the color of blood, isn't it? He grinned.
Yes and no. It is indeed the color of blood, which was why I chose to keep the name when I took it from my master. But Sanguine also means something else. Something important. And it was Shen who taught me this simple thing.
He reached out at the rising sun with a warm, happy smile, feeling the warmth on his skin.
Happiness. Even in the face of all this horrible darkness, I could still be happy.
Almost nothing made me happy. Parties, women, alcohol, nothing. It just felt hollow. But then I met him in the fighting. It wasn't real anymore. I fought to see him again. I fought because it was fun. I met someone who could think like me without being like me. I mean, we still kind of hated each other, but heck, just knowing the other is there is fun. The one great constant. It was a happiness. You just gotta enjoy the simple, small stuff in life. You are rarely exactly like your best friends. Heck, the best of friends are nothing like you. He stared out at his old, scarred, outstretched hand. There is no emotion. There's only peace.
Peace is a lie. There is only passion. Through passion, we gain strength.
There's no passion. There's only serenity.
There is no ignorance. There is only knowledge.
There is no passion. Only serenity.
Through strength, we gain power. Through power, victory.
There is no chaos. There is harmony.
There is no death. There is only the Force.
And through victory, my chains are broken. The Force has freed me. Those words were supposed to mean everything, but they came from those who would steal children in the night to put into a war. Fools who would never seek peace. Yes, true peace is impossible, but it's an admirable idea. Peace is impossible, but that is the balance of it. I know because of Sanguine. You can't control other people. War happens. Death is as natural as life, and you can't stop death, just like you can't stop war.
Seek peace, but no war. Me and that man, we know war. It's all we know these days. It's not a bad thing. Our war is just how we live our life. Sure, he's a pain in the ass, damages my robe, and all that. But honestly, he's my best friend. He's like a brother to me. What two good brothers don't fight?
Sanguine laughed happily, pulling the last-ditch taunt before nodding it.
Do you happen to have anything durable? Something bland in color? Gray? Or maybe even brown? That old bone-headed geezer probably has not had a real change of clothes for 10 years now.
Enough talk for now. He tossed the last bale of hay all the way across the field into its spot, as part of the little game Rainbow had requested. Even without his powers, which he agreed not to use, he almost beat her every time, stealing victory twice out of the 15 rounds of chores they had turned to games. I suppose I'll have to go to Sanguine to get my lightsaber fixed. I'll let him rest a bit, though. 115 years old. I've seen younger dirt. But he knows his stuff. He kicked back happily against a tree and closed his eyes.
Thank you, dear. It is magnificent. I am in awe of your talents.
The new Sith robes kept his usual dark color scheme and general design, only it had much more focus on trimmings and ease of use. Flexibility and rarity had replaced all the red with a deep violet, which Sanguine was actually rather happy about.
Well then, I believe I should have a few more hours to meditate. Then I'll deliver this foolishness to Shen. Then we can see what we will do. As far as I can guess, you don't have any shipyards on this planet.
No, at least not what I think you were referring to. Sanguine just chuckled and sat down calmly in a further corner and closed his eyes in meditation. Then, eventually, slept. I seriously doubt he is any real threat. Which one? Either, or well, both. They're just, well, kinda strange. But let's let the professionals decide. A purple dragon burped a spout of green flame, and the message plopped into eager waiting hooves. Dear Twilight, I have seen the dreams of the two strangers you mentioned, and honestly, I can tell blood and war are thick in their past. But despite this, they have kind and kindred souls. We will do our best to help them if they will accept it, but keep an eye on them for now. I am going back to sleep. Love, Luna. Well, I guess that's that. Twilight yawned and nearly jumped out of her fur when Pinky gave a shout.
There they are! Shh! Listen.
The two men stared at each other for a moment before Sanguine handed over a soft bundle of clothes. He happily took it up and handed over his lightsaber. Many ponies stared from the distance at what they could only assume was some subspecies of minotaur that they had never seen before.
Thank you. And goodness, I kinda hope there's no way off this world. Colorful ponies? It's kinda fun.
You know, you're right, but honestly, we don't belong here. Nothing about us belongs here. Sanguine gave this saber a swat across his palm before frowning.
Unless these ponies know how to repair a stage 4 power supply, I doubt either of our lightsabers will live again.
Shen laughed. No worries, I'll still fight you with a stick and rocks. They both chuckled before Shen looked up with some sorrow on his face. Do you think it was all worth it? Sanguine's smile faded.
No, not even close. I didn't even get to say goodbye to my wife before the mission on the Trinity's Breath. We had to have been presumed dead decades ago. The only peace and solace we have is that your girl is probably up to her eyeballs in grandchildren right now.
Was your apprentice really that, Oh, never mind. I hope they're happy.
As do I. They deserved more. We deserved more.
Hey now, you're a Sith. Don't go getting all soft on us now. Sanguine laughed loudly before looking out at the world around them.
It's beautiful. Goodness, Shen. We don't have much time left in our lives. My power has been running on empty for the last 10 years, as has yours. There's no way off this world. Why not just...
Shen smiled. Have fun? Live it to the fullest for what is left of it? Sure, let's do that. Plus 100 credits says your ugly ass dies of old age before mine.
Oh. Oh, you're so on.
Back inside the castle, the ponies, eavesdropping, passed about confusing looks. That is a kinda weird friendship. But so long as they don't kill any pony or catch anything on fire, I'll be happy. Applejack spoke in her still drowsy state. Twilight nodded, looking down at them through the window. Not every pony is like us. Friends come in every shape and size. You just gotta make do with what you got. The end. Author's note. This was all done in just a few hours. I just wanted to have fun and throw some of my old characters around for fun. This is not a story I am expecting to get huge views or a mountain of likes on. It's just a way to have fun while describing my relationship with a few of my friends while going on and on with an old favorite theme of a lot of ours. Star Wars. It was fun and I hope you enjoyed it. It's slow in places, but heck, it was fun and I don't regret making it. It's good to take a break from my usual adventure and violence to make something mildly funny and generally just calming on the nerves. Alright, so that was Star Wars, The Long War and Friendship by Seye eniugnas. Dude. Alright, so first, I'm pretty sure this is another apology for the long-ass wait time for this story to come out. I love the story, dude. The whole idea of these two going at it like this is just hilarious. And yeah, it's just an all-around good story. Okay, so, 2 things to note. The name is, I'm changing my name from the raucous narrator to Racket Brony. If there's already somebody with that name out there that's doing something like this, please let me know, and I'll see what I can do. And then the second one is that now that my days off schedule seems to be a little bit more stable now, I'm going to be releasing a video, I'm thinking every Saturday. Yeah, every Saturday should be good. They'll probably be as long, if not longer, as this one. And, as always, keep that racket going.